Well, a very good evening, whichever part of the country or the world you are watching us from. Many thanks for joining us this evening on Citizen TV. You're watching Citizen Debates, a special edition. We are live from county number 9, Mandera County. And let me tell you, we are in the heart of Mandera town, and this is a very interesting county. It borders 2 other countries. About a kilometer or so from here is the Ethiopia border. We also border in Mandera the Somalia border, and Wajir as well. The latest census showing that this county has a little over 800,000 residents, with about 250,000 or roughly so as voters. And those voters will have to make a decision next week when Kenyans go to the polls as to who they will vote in to succeed the current governor, two-time governor, I can also add, Ali Roba. My name is Wahiga Mora. Many thanks for joining us on the program. This is the Mandera County Gubernatorial debate, and we are going to have a very interesting discussion shortly. Remember, you can weigh in. 22422 is the SMS line, and the hashtag is Citizen Debates. Now, the IBC gazetted 4 candidates for the post of governor for Mandera County, and I'm going to read their names now. They gazetted Hassan Nur Hassan under an ODM ticket. He's a former education CAS. Mohammed Aden Halif, also known as MAC, UDM candidate, and also the outgoing Mandera County Speaker. They also gazetted Ali Nur Aden, also known as Rupisa, who's the UDA candidate, a former educationist and director of elections in URP, and also Aden Abdullah Mohammed Jari, Jubilee ticket, and a former CS in the Ministry of EAC. Now, we extended an invitation to all the candidates, and 2 have joined us for this particular discussion. And if the other ones join us as well, we will do our best to accommodate them. But ladies and gentlemen, you can first give a round of applause to our candidates who are gathered here. Muwapigie makofi tafadhali. And to the candidates, welcome as well, and many thanks for making time for us today. Let's get straight into this debate, and you will have 2 minutes to answer the series of questions in different sectors that I'll be posing to you at this time. And let me start with you, Bwana Mohammed Ali Nur Aden, also known as Rupisa. Why do you think you're the best candidate to lead Mandera County into the next stage of devolution?
Bismillah, thank you very much. My name's Nur Ali Aden, known as nickname Ropisa, gubernatorial candidate, UDA ticket. I have pleasure to commit myself today, this evening, telling Mandera people that I have passion, commitment to serve Mandera people. Mandera people, I know the public servant have served 10 years, youth, graduates who are unemployed, mothers not getting maternity service, small business communities who have invested their little money in contracts that have never been paid, patients who are looking for medicine, they are turned away because drugs are not available. I offer myself to solve all the above I've said, so that Mandera people can elect me as their second governor, Mandera County. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nur Aden there. Let me also allow Mohammed Aden to also respond to the same question. Why do you think you're the best candidate to take over from Ali Roba?
Actually, my name is Wahiga. First of all, thanks very much for making it to Mandera. My name is not Mohammed Aden, it's Aden Mohammed. Incidentally, the other one is also called Mohammed Aden, so it's something I'm beginning to worry about during the election. Thank you for making it to Mandera, Wahiga, and the Citizen team. This is really an important opportunity for us who grew up in Mandera and who are now coming back home. And the mantra for my campaign actually is bringing talent back home. And I believe that I have the experience and what it takes to lead this county from the problems and the challenges that this county has suffered in the last 10 years of devolution. The problem that we've seen in Mandera are unique in many ways. Yet the problems that we see here are so basic that to hear that Mandera has one of the worst infant mortality rates in the world when delivering babies and having kids in hospital today is something as easy as ABCD. So I believe I have what it takes, the experience, the network, and the knowledge of the challenges facing the people of Mandera. And with the help of Mandera people, we will get ourselves out of this miracle.
Okay, thank you so much for that and for both of you giving us your opening statements. Let's drive straight into some of the issues. Noor, Aiden, coming over to you to understand from you. The statistics that we have show that this is the second poorest county in terms of the poverty index after Turkana. Should the people of Mandera give you the vote to be their next governor, what would be your immediate priorities?
Thank you. My immediate priority is to make sure that the resources that we are getting from national government are being utilized in the right way. We used to complain, and we used to say that Kenyatta government, they have forgotten Nordistan. We used to say Moi government, they've never considered Nordistan. But thank God, after 2010 constitution, funds have been devolved, we have enough money, and now we are the ones who are marginalizing ourselves. Given the priority and the opportunity by Mandera people to serve them, I will make sure that up to the cent that is coming, trickling from national government is utilized in the best way possible. For example, you see, we have got 80% of these county youths are jobless. Not that they have not gone to school, not that they are tabula rasas, but they are lacking opportunity. If you make them active, I'm sure these people will not go and even become victim of radicalization. The problem we have is that these people are not engaged. That is why they're idle. If, for example, you take Boda Boda group, as normally my party we stand for, you make a circle for them. In Nairobi, you'll realize that the Boda Boda guys, they have formed circle, they have even their own real estate today. If we start a small circle for them and put money into their budget, I'm sure the poverty level of this county will reduce. Number two, the livestock we have is a natural resource God has given us. It's natural, but we don't tap it. We only cry when it is a drought. But what are we doing when we have the resource, when we have the rain? So, given the opportunity as the governor, believe me, those livestock we have, we can turn around. The leather that is now today is useless. We can have factories for our leathers whereby we can produce shoes. Our youths are going to work in those industries. Instead of supplying or importing shoes from Turkey, we can have the same shoes from here, leather clothes from here. Leather shoes from here. And
your 2 minutes is up, so I'll stop you then. We'll come back and hopefully get to hear a bit more from you. Coming to you now, Aiden Mohammed, you were CS for 10 years. You led various dockets, industrialization, agriculture, and now EAC as well. What would you cite as some of the projects that you undertook within those ministries, either in Mandera or in the wider northern Kenya, that residents of this county should now give you a chance to come and manage at a local level?
Well, I think, first of all, it's fair to say that as a former cabinet minister, I have played a key role in playing a part in managing the budgets of this country and pitching for some of the projects that happen across the country. A lot of activities that we have undertaken tend to benefit the country at large and not county specific. One of the flagship programs that I have led across the whole government in the last 10 years is attracting investments into this country through a program known as Ease of Doing Business, which is a situation that makes countries to attract investments compared to other places where potential investors go. There is a significant track record that we have established in that place as a country, and is one of the key legacies President Kenyatta is leaving behind as he moves on beyond the national election. But specifically, projects are budgeted through national ministries. And within the Ministry of Agriculture, there are quite a number of dams and irrigation programs along River Dawa that has happened, especially in a place called Ramu, through the National Irrigation Board, but also playing a key part in influencing the development of infrastructure that leads up to Mandera. So a key one that is ongoing now is a tamaking of Isiolo Mandera Road, a project that costs nearly $750 million that is going to see people move from Isiolo to Mandera through Tarmac Road, a dream that many people have waited for. And I think in East Africa, a program normally that really requires engagements with neighboring countries. And some of those programs involve increasing opportunities for regional trade. And one of the things that is in the pipeline that I know for Kenya government is the opening of the Kenya-Somali border here in Mandera itself. And so whilst most of the things that happen are countrywide, there are pockets of projects that are funded by national government that I have played a key part in making sure that those budgets come through the relevant ministries. And a key one in here, for example, is an ongoing program of water and sewage program for this Mandera town itself.
And your time is up, but I'll add you 30 seconds to respond to this. What do you say to critics who say that as CS, you made other promises that were not met? A promise, for example, to bring electricity through a grid from Ethiopia, through Loyangalani to Mandera, and other promises as well that they believe you had a chance to solve at a national level, including jobs for young people and industrialization. How do you respond to?
I have never promised to bring electricity from Loyangalani to Mandera. In any event, that is not something that has ever been part of my remit in government. But I have played a key part in attracting investments in the energy sector into the country, including investments in the energy sector, which involved the development of 50 megawatts of solar power in Garissa, which is a key part of this region. Mm-hmm. And so the nature of the work that I have been doing in the ministries that I have been working under are trying to map programs that actually create opportunities for people in down Kenya, as we call it up here, where infrastructure exists and energy supply is in abundance. A number of industries have been attracted. We are having pipelines of programs the day energy reaches here to attract companies and industries like cement manufacturing, if only there's sufficient power.
Okay, and your time is up, so I'll stop you there. I want us to switch gears because should any of you take over the reins of the county government after the election next week, one of the most immediate issues you'll have to deal with is the state of security in this county. And let me start with you, Noor, Aiden, and just hear from you on this one. In terms of security, it has been said, obviously, that peace is a prerequisite to development. How will you improve peace and security within the county? I know security is a national government function, but there is close collaboration that will be needed between a county government and national government for something to be done in regards to that. What is your plan in regards to that?
Thank you. Before I tell you how we are going to mitigate the security issue, first, what is the problem? What is the foundation of this insecurity in Mandera, or rather, the northern Kenya? Number one, we have a neighboring country which is not at peace for the last 40 years. Number two, youth who are idle, they have no jobs. So the only thing they access the guns, which is normally available, than maybe getting cabbage or sukuba. Number three, we have got our KDF who are in Somalia. And these people, we don't have peace with them until those KDF will be removed from there. Look at our neighboring border country, which is Ethiopia. Just a stone throw. They are more at peace than us. What is the intake? So when all these things are added together, and again, they want inchi. For you, if you come and explain to them that I've seen people who are normally not supposed to be here, call it whichever name they call themselves, the security agents will profile you. Even the same group will come and provide, so you don't even say there is a problem that is there is a problem that is in this part of the world. Now, those are some of the problems. Now, what are the solutions? We must be at peace with our neighboring country, especially Somalia. We must have peaceful coexistence with them. Number two, we must engage our youths. Youth, they have energy to waste. If you don't tap the energy, they will use it in a wrong way. So we have to tap the energy of these youths. Number three, I know this function is not devolved. The county government as a governor, God willing if I get, plus the national government, we must work together hand in hand. Normally, sometimes there is a breakage between the two at a certain point until you don't solve a problem. So my take is that if youth are being engaged, the neighboring country, we handle, we coexist with them peacefully through the transition government of Somalia. Then our KDFs are withdrawn from Somalia.
Okay.
I'm sure we're going to be
Your time is up, but I can give you 5 seconds to just wrap up.
So I feel that if we put together those issues I've articulated, I'm sure Mandera is going to be a heaven for all of us.
Okay, thank you. And we'll interrogate that a bit deeper. Honorable Aiden, I'll also give you a chance to respond to that particular question. But for now, let's take a short break. You're watching Citizen Debate. We're live from Mandera County, county number 9, and we've got a lot to get through. We've just started digging into matter security. We'll also talk about education, healthcare, and the plans that these candidates have for this county of Mandera. We'll be right back with that and so much more on the other side. Stay with us. Welcome back to Citizen Debates. Many thanks for keeping it Citizen TV. We are live from a very warm Mandera County, about 31 degrees Celsius. I know you watching us in Nairobi, it's almost 17 there. So it's a pretty warm evening here and a great debate we are having here as we discuss the future of this county with two candidates. We've got Noor Aiden here on a UDA ticket. He's vying to be the next governor of this county, together with Aiden Mohammed on a Jubilee ticket. Former CS also vying to be the next governor of this particular county. Now, before we took the break, we were discussing matter security. And I want to hear from you now, Aiden Mohammed, on this one to understand what you feel your main concern is in regards to security in 2022 in Mandera. Is it inter-clan conflict? Is it external threats? Where are you most concerned about, and what solution would you place on the table for the people of Mandera?
I think both, actually. On the issue of inter-clan conflict, we need to understand the underlying reasons why communities get into trouble. And typically it's because of fights over resources, fight over injustices and unfair distribution of wealth, employment, and many others. And so if you deal with that underlying problem, making sure that if jobs are being created in this county, and most jobs are created by the county government, the distribution of jobs needs to reflect the face and the shape of the people and communities that live here. But really what causes problem are sometimes cross-border conflicts over grazing land, water, and scarce resources. You tell a Somali that your cows or camels don't have water, and someone else's animals are having water, you are calling for a problem. And so we want to make sure that those underlying problems are dealt with, to make sure that those things don't continue to be the cause of the problem. Communities, nobody wants to fight, and I think that's the main reason. On the other issues, the external threat, I think is something that is within the scope of the national government, as you rightly said. And there's a lot of mystery to it, of course, because there are different layers and intelligence and other authorities that deal with that. Ours is to make sure that we collaborate with the national government, but also deal with things that we have control over, which is addressing the challenges the young men and women of this county face, which is to give them opportunities, be it on employment front, but also on wealth creation opportunities that I'm sure we'll be able to talk about later.
Okay, and we'll come back to that. I still want to tie us to security, but insecurity has a spiral effect on various parts of an economy, whether a county economy or a national economy as well. And coming back to you, Noor Ali, we know that the insecurity in this county, at least in previous days, has affected the education sector and the healthcare sector as well. Actually, the last, some of the statistics we have here is that the TSC had cited a shortage of teachers in the county at 1,849 for public primary schools and 517 in secondary schools. We also hear a similar challenge in the healthcare sector as well. How do you intend to address these problems?
Very well. What you are mentioning is really there. Actually, I've done statistics. I went around when I was campaigning. I've seen the problem. As we said earlier, if your hands are not together, you cannot solve anything about security because it's a national function. What I've noted, actually I talked to a teacher, we've mentioned teachers and it came to my mind, that he told me he's coming from Kisumu but working here. And he told me he fears to go by road because he can be attacked or can be removed from the bus since he doesn't belong to this community. So the only hope that they can reach their home is by going through the air, which is costing 40,000, more than even their salary. So you don't expect such teachers to be there. If now you tell me how you're going to solve, I have to motivate the non-locals who are working here. For example, I make sure that every holiday, three holidays in a year, I give teachers air transport home, because they are human beings like me and you. I make sure that I give them good allowance from the county coffer, so that on top of what they're getting from TSC, and the rest will be history. People will feel like coming and working in this place.
That is your proposition?
That is me.
Okay. For you, Aiden Mohammed, we have heard of cases of teachers even boycotting. For example, there was a problem in most secondary schools. This is data from ISPAC, as teachers handling technical subjects that entail practicals had at some point even boycotted reporting to work due to the insecurity challenges that they faced. I want you to talk to me about that link between insecurity and how it affects those sectors and the very real solutions that you propose to Mandera residents today.
The issue of education and teacher problems in this county is really one that is a vicious cycle. And somehow that circle has to be penetrated and cut short. Because if you think about it, the students who go to school here tend not to do well because of lack of teachers. And yet you depend on teachers from other parts of the country who also cannot be here on a long-term basis because of security problem. And so it's a catch-22 situation. And whilst the immediate short-term solution is to provide protection to non-locals who feel exposed whilst teaching in these counties, I think the long-term solution is one of motivating the locals here to go into teaching profession. I will not throw resources at motivating teachers by paying allowances, because we need that money for a lot of other things. And that is just a short-term solution. I think one way of attracting locals to teaching profession, and by the way, there are many people who want to go into it, but they don't make the cutoff for teacher training grades. And why can't they make it? Because they don't have teachers when they do secondary school. So one of the key things we will work on is to work with national governments to consider having an affirmative action of lowering the grade for entry points for teacher training for people who are in this difficult environment. That is the long-term solution that I think requires collaboration between these counties, and it's not only Mandera, but most of these insecure places, and the national government.
And on the back of what both of you have then spoken about, how would your proposals then affect the budget, should you be voted into office after the election next week? And let me talk about the budget for the financial year 2021-2022. The big winners there were healthcare, water, environment, public works, took quite a big chunk of the budget. But some of the losing sectors included the Ministry of Gender, Youth, and Social Services, the Ministry of Trade and Investments as well, which on average got about 1% of the budget. With the awareness of the challenges that this county faces, from insecurity to then some of the proposals you've put for the education sector as well, what would you do differently from a budgeting perspective? I want to hear your thinking around this. And Noor Ali, let me start with you on this one.
I have to, if the budget is being prepared, we have got the comfort of time to go and redo it by ourselves. We can't, we'll sit with the new assembly that are going to come in to make sure that we prioritize depending on the need that is in place. For example, now if you put health care and then you forget the youth, and these are the backbone of this county, then you have not done the right thing. And that is why all the problem you're saying, that if youth are not committed, then what are you running in the county? So when you're saying health sector, and you say that the budget has been given to health sector and drugs are not in the hospital, and then you see that the huge budget they are getting, you are not getting it. And the procurement is not done at the sub-county level. It's being done at the governor's office. So what I'm trying to say is that if that is the budget... That's a
very strong allegation. You have proof of that? Have you reported that anywhere?
Yeah, because whatever has been done, the county assembly, the budget has been done in the county and then it has been approved at the county. What I'm trying to say is that if, for example, you are procuring a drug for Ministry for Department of Health, and Banissa is a sub-county, and you don't do the drug, you don't take the service to the community. They're supposed to be the procurement team of that particular Banissa sub-county are the ones who are supposed to be procuring for the drug, rather than being done here at Mandera town. And then the contract is given even to the local people, because the local people will know that is the continuity of the drug to the hospital, so that at some point there will be no drug will not be out of the stock. So what I'm saying that the budget, we are going to revisit it and prioritize it so that every sector can get what it takes to run the different departments.
Okay, and your time is up. Let me allow Aiden Mohammed to also weigh in on this. What would be your budget priorities looking at that financial year that we are coming out of with some of the proposals you're putting on the table?
I think, Wahiga, one of the reasons why I have opted to run for this office is to deal with some of the problems that we have. I have never seen such an incompetent administration, who I think at best I will describe as incompetent, but at worst as people who are trying to do cover-ups and get engagements in corruption cases, many of which are easily available. And just a good example is this current administration of this county, the last action they did was to reallocate the budget for 2022-2023 to ongoing projects, most of which are subjects of corruption cases, so that they continue that way, that any administration that comes after will not have any new programs or initiatives to undertake. I think that is their wish, but it's not going to happen that way. But that is akin to people who are setting on fire a house that they are vacating.
Okay, and I'll not allow you to talk too much about other administrations. I want to hear about yours. What would your plan be?
So the priorities that we have would be influenced largely by the needs of the people. And the number one program that really affects the lifestyle of people is to look at what is the economic mainstay of people in Mandera County. And that is livestock and livestock-related industries. The chain that actually relates to livestock. Over 90% of people here depend on livestock. My fees were paid using proceeds from sale of livestock. And it's a form of wealth, it's a form of savings. And we need to protect and preserve that. So in that supply chain, whether it's water that is required for livestock or the livestock itself, the production, extension services, markets for it, that would be a key priority areas that you did not mention as one of the top few gainers, as you said. There are issues that we really want to focus on about creating wealth for people in this country. Poverty is a main problem, and it's because of unemployment. It's a significant disincentive for people to go to school. So we are creating a youth and women empowerment fund that over 5 years is going to be 2.5 billion shillings, which is a revolving fund that would be interest-free, that would be enabling young men and women to actually create opportunities for SMEs in this place. Yesterday, I was talking to border young men who are riding bikes that belong to some wealthy people. And one of the beneficiaries, I'm sure, that will come out of that program would be those people who would own those motorbikes. And look at it, Wahiga, it costs about 120,000 shillings to buy a motorbike. If you advance 120 for somebody...
Your time is up, but 10 seconds to finish.
If you give at 120,000 to advance and you get 1,000 shillings a day, you will own that motorbike in 3 months.
Okay.
Those are the kind of opportunities that we want to bring to our people here.
Okay. Before you respond, let's take a break. I'll come back and I'll give you a chance to also weigh in on this. We'll also get a few questions from some of the members of this community that are joining us here today in Mandera. You're watching Citizen Debate. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Round of applause. Welcome back to Citizen Debates. We are live from the northernmost part of the country. We're in Mandera County, county number 9, discussing the various issues that voters here will contend with as they decide who they want to vote for next week. We're about 7 days and counting now to the August 9th polls, and hopefully programs like this one will help voters understand some of the issues within their counties and, of course, hear potential solutions from some of the candidates who have put their names forward. We continue our discussion here. We've got Aden Mohammed here, who's a gubernatorial candidate on a Jubilee ticket, and Noor Ali, who is a gubernatorial candidate on a UDA ticket. And of course, this is an interactive session, and at this time, I'll quickly allow 3 individuals within the audience to ask their questions to their candidates. It should be a question or comment, either in Swahili or English. Please keep it short. We'll start with you, sir.
Thank you very much, Wahiga. My name is Bilo Isaac Hassan. I have a question for both the candidates. I want to start with the former CS, Aden Mohammed, about you have been, I want you to confirm a myth about your candidature that you have been referred to as a tourist gubernatorial candidate. So I want you to confirm either if that information is true by answering the question,
okay,
or confirming the myth. The question is, I want you to name your 3 of your MCA candidate, an MCA for Ashabito Ward, an MCA for Terkale Ward, and also an MCA for
You've asked a question, please ask the other one.
Both. The question, I just want him to confirm the 3 candidates.
Perfect.
Then also to the candidate Noor Ali, also to confirm the UDA candidate for Dandu Ward, the UDA candidate for Takaba Ward, and also UDA candidate for Fino Ward. Thank you.
Okay. I hope they've noted that. I'll give you a chance to respond to that. We have a second question from this lady here. Please begin by introducing yourself.
Mimi nasalamia Waziri Chari, namuuliza tu swali, ametusaidia nini hiyo mwaka 10 ilikuwa waziri yetu? Hiyo tu.
Okay, you've noted that question, and we have one more here. Please introduce yourself, question or comment, brief, please.
Just carry on.
Yeah. My name is Jabir Padola. I have 2 questions to ask the candidates. To begin with the first one, we have suffered in the hands of an oppressed regime in the last 10 years as a youth. And my first question is about employment, whereby the county government has employed very many people, about those people who have fake certificates in the employment sector, whereby the gubernatorial candidate for Jubilee has listed in the 5th pillar.
Okay, excuse me, sir.
He will be
excuse me, sir. Excuse me. A question to them, not about other people. What's a question to them?
So I want to ask Mr. Jari, the Jubilee candidate, and also Mr. Noor, to highlight on how to deal with those complaints whereby there has been lobbied by the individuals like the youth. The next question I want to ask is about the tender, whereby the county government, when they give out tender, they ask for a 10 to 30%.
Okay, excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. We don't have a representative here. What's your question to these two individuals, please?
I am coming to that.
Okay. Because I'm the host, I cannot allow you to make allegations that we don't have proof of.
It's not an
It's
not an allegation. Whereby, to gain what you call the kind of impartiality between the person giving and the person taking the tender, he is asked to give 10% of the share, making a tight, rigid condition in qualifying for that tender. So how will you going to address if you are elected as a governor for Mandera County?
You may respond to those questions. Either of you can begin.
Okay. Well, first of all, let me start with the last question. I hope I don't have 2 minutes because there are 6 questions, so I'll try. First of all, the issue of the youth program and empowerment is a central part of my manifesto, which I launched last week here in Mandera. And the solution to dealing with unemployment problems amongst the youth in Mandera is not to push for more job opportunities from the county. There's only so much the county can do, but we want to see how we can enable our young people to do and invest in small and medium-sized businesses. That is a central part of our program, and we have mentioned and named the amount of money, 2.5 billion shillings over a 5-year period, interest-free loan, that would be revolving to support the young men and women. I think in terms of the 10% program, this is something that we have had a lot of. Incidentally, it's no more 10%. That is how it started. It's 90% today, I am told. And that is, as I said, a system that really, really is rotten. And we want to see how we can improve issues of integrity and governance through transparency. We want to post who gets a tender, at what value, and making sure that it is value for money. There is so much that is going on here where original project is estimated at 100 million, for example, and in 5 years' time when it's finished, it's probably 10 times the cost. That is not what Mandera people need. And so we will see how we can tackle that through creating a transparent system. Who gets the tender, the process of where tenders are open and how it's done. I think on the issue of tourism, that I'm a tourist
candidate. You're a tourist
candidate. Mm-hmm. I guess anybody can be called as a tourist. So if I go to Mombasa, I can be, I go there as a tourist. But incidentally, a lot of people have become tourists after me. Because everything that I have done in the last couple of months, people are trying to replicate that, such as sleeping in Lafayette County, sub-county.
No clapping. Hold. No clapping, please. Please
those
carry on.
kind of allegations are, I think, people talking about issues which are totally irrelevant and not talking about what programs they have for Mandera County. So I think that doesn't even deserve any response. But on the issue of the MCAs you're talking about, I'm not quite sure I understood the question, but we have MCAs in all the 30 wards, and we are working with them, and we hope that they are going to win.
Okay.
And we wish them luck.
I've given you more than 3 minutes, which I believe is fully fair. Noor Ali, please respond to the questions that were
thank you.
posed
Let
here.
me start with his question about youth, job, and everything is being mishandled.
And I would say we stay away from allegations unless we move to court. What's your solution moving forward?
The solution is that, in fact, what my opponent or my brother is saying, the bottom-up economy we are launching, and which is our manifesto, is the one that he's trying to tell you. So that is the way we know very well that there are people who have been employed and they have fake certificates. We are aware. We know that the contracts, the right people are not given the contracts. We know that even the contract, actually, even in government, in Kenyan law, there is a way to give contract. There is even space for youth and even people with disability. But all these things are being taken in Mandera, we know that. So what I'm saying, given the opportunity to run this thing, first we call ourselves, we are Muslims. And then when this is 30% or 20% you are getting, or you are giving job to your cousin and your uncle, people from Nairobi, and then the youth in Mandera who have never been to Nairobi, maybe they went to Nairobi for colleges, are not getting anything, is not even Islamic. So what I'm promising you, my young son, is that given the opportunity, getting your votes and others, and going to that office, I'll make sure that everybody will get his or her right in the way it has been prescribed in Kenyan law. Number two, the issue of maybe calling, maybe that question was his, calling a tourist. I don't know why you people, you laughed when he talked about Lafay. Lafay is not part of Mandera. I'm asking you guys who are laughing, why is he so specific about Lafay? Lafay is our sub-county. So whoever goes and sleep there, there is a question. Can you eradicate that thing? Let us not profile also our counties, our sub-counties. The issue of that young man asking about who are the MCAs aspirant in those three wards. As UDA, we don't have UDA candidates, but we have affiliated party, Kenya Kwanza Party, who are our candidates there. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And on that note, we take another break. We come back. I've got a few more questions for the candidates who are here, representing, of course, Mandera County, vying to be the next governor of the county to take over from the current county government. Let's take a quick break. You're watching Citizen TV, Citizen Debate. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Citizen Debates. We are live from Mandera, a little over 1,000 kilometers away from Nairobi. We've discussed quite a bit, and as we get into the final part of the program, it's going to be a brief one. I want to quickly pose two questions to both candidates here. One is, according to the Public Finance Management Act, the wage bill to revenue ratio should not exceed 35% in any county. Now, there's a trend we've seen across all counties of increased staffing without much consideration to how it affects the county's wage bill. What's your proposal about how you'd address the wage bill to ensure that you reduce or release resources for development and service delivery? And one coming in from a viewer that I want to pose, kindly ask the candidates that Mandera elections are said to be the most expensive per capita in the country. Why is this? And what would they do to ensure that one doesn't go broke during this campaign season, and then when you get into office, one is under pressure, so to speak, to ensure that you change that so the next election that doesn't happen as well? Aiden Mohammed, I'll start with you and get your responses to those two questions briefly.
Yeah, and I think, Wahiga, it would only be fair if I respond to a question asked by our sister there earlier on, but so you give me that time later on. But for now, let me just deal with the issue of expensive elections. First, you see, Mandera is quite unique. For you to get to Mandera, you have to go through a lot of hoops from one place to another. The security issue that you have elaborated on a lot plays a key part in how people even move from one place to the other. That is real cost, real expenditure that people need to be worried about. And also, there is a culture not unique to Mandera, to be fair, that when people come for election, they need some help, programs that normally people are asking for around this election time. Boreholes, oh, I'm sick and somebody has to be taken to hospital and those kind of stuff. There are genuine cases and people tend to ask for those helps. But really the most critical things that makes these elections expensive is the cost of infrastructure, movements, insecurity issues, moving from Mandera to Nairobi and many other places. That is a real issue. And to be honest with you, it is a main cause of the problems that we see not only here but across the continent, not even in Kenya alone. And that is why issues of election financing should be a priority, I think, for any government, national government, let alone the local governments, because people tend to expend all these kind of costs, and recovery before you go to the next election tends to be a problem.
Okay, because we don't have too much time, I just want to give you 10 seconds to respond, or let's make it 20, to the other question as well. The concern about increasing wage bill across the counties, how would you release resources for development?
I think the way to do it is, you know, there are two ways to do it. One is to increase the revenue that you are getting. That is probably the first choice that we would pursue. The amount of collections of local revenue is very small, but we want to bring investors into this county. We want to see how developments can be pushed by private sector, not government. Governments all over the place, let alone county, even national government, have challenges. As if you walk around this county, you see a lot of stalled programs. And so trying to cut wage bills by reducing staff number is probably not the right thing to do.
Okay.
The key thing is look for new sources of revenue, try and see how you can improve efficiency of current staff. Because if these staff are given opportunities to work and do their jobs properly, these are all clever minds that are being not put to use at the moment. And I believe that we can probably more than double the revenue source that I've been created within the county. Okay,
allow me to stop you there. Noor Ali, briefly, your response to those two questions.
If I go to the first question that you have talked about, let me start with this one. For revenue, over wage bill that is maybe experienced in this county or even beyond, that my first priority is to do stock checking on the staff that is working in Mandera County. You know, if you don't call a spade, you will not solve a problem, because there may be, I know, and maybe others know, and those who are seated here know that they are ghost workers. There are people who have never even stepped in Mandera who are earning through this county. So my priority is to make sure that I do stock taking and clear off the ghost workers.
Okay.
I'm sure I will save.
Okay.
The other question?
And the other question is?
The other question is on top of what my brother said. Mandera County people are desperate. They are chasing handouts because they are not getting the value for their money. Actually, at this time, priority of sinking a borehole or a dam is remote. These people, they know that once you go to the county, you go to that big office, you will never see them. They say, let us eat you now, so that tomorrow they may not see you. That is the priority they have. That's why they look for money.
Okay.
On top of other trade like transportation, but why people look for money is because they will not see their leaders tomorrow after they elect.
Okay. And I'll stop you there. Unfortunately, we have run out of time. But of course, you've gotten a chance to hear some of the thoughts of the candidates that have put their names forward to be the next governor of this county. Thank you so much once again, and a round of applause to Noor Ali, also known as Rupisa, on a UDA ticket, and Aiden Mohammed on a Jubilee ticket for attending this debate today. And thank you so much for tuning in. This has been another edition of Citizen Debate Live on Citizen TV. My name is Wahiga Mwaura, and of course, we hand you now back to the team in Nairobi for the 9 p.m. news, the Monday Report with Trevor Mbija up next.